Talking about pronouns and why they are extremely important. At least to me, I guess, I don't know. Before I started transitioning and tried to convince myself I was non-binary, I told people that I really didn't have any preferred pronouns, so, nobody'd have to worry about misgendering me, right? But as I started taking, bigger steps in transitioning, I realized that I put in too much work not to be referred to as the pronouns I wanted to have. Now, as far as, my family goes and, close friends, I still let them call me whatever I want, because, that's just my own personal preference, because I know they love me, I love them. Names and pronouns don't really matter in those relationships. But as far as everyone else goes, getting referred to as he, him can sometimes send my brain spiraling, and it's already unstable as it is.
Obviously.
Since I transitioned, I started putting preferred pronouns on my name tag, which does seem to kind of help, but sometimes, I get misgendered by mistake, so it's just something you gotta roll with, I guess. But the next time you want to just, roll your eyes over someone posting their preferred pronouns on social media, just remember that we've gone through a lot and we appreciate your support more than you know. I mean, I guess I appreciate you. I mean, kind of, sort of.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Now let me get this straight. That young fellow we just heard from in the first clip doesn't mind at all when his close friends and family members use he, him pronouns. But if anyone else does it, it sends his brain into a spiral? I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. And I will continue to roll my eyes at anyone who posts their preferred pronouns on social media. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy Clown World update for you guys today. And as usual, we have very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this is Linda. Now, Linda is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a transbian or trans lesbian. Now, Linda posted these before and after transition photos, and if we're being honest about it, Linda's transition consisted of nothing more than a comb over and some lipstick.
But you can't, you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig.
All right, we're going to keep it moving with this young lady who does not know how to have a conversation with Trump supporters. Now, this clip reminds me of something that Dilbert comic strip creator Scott Adams says quite often. It is impossible to have a political conversation with people who still think the news is real. Roll it.
Has anyone figured out how to talk to Trump supporters? Because I genuinely cannot figure out how to just have a fucking conversation. Because, even if you just tell them, read a newspaper, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you no. What do you respond to that? If you don't even want to read the newspaper, then of course we can sit here and argue who's right and who's wrong. But we both know that one person actually has information and one doesn't, because you just admitted to me that you don't read the newspaper or the news or watch the news or whatever, get news from any source.
You ain't got a 4-head, you got a 5-head.
And next up, we have this young lady who thinks that all the black and brown people from around the world should be able to come to the United States. Now, I would be willing to bet she lives in a predominantly white neighborhood, and she would not allow any black and brown immigrants to stay with her while they looked for housing and jobs. Roll it.
Watching what is happening in this country is fucking disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach, and it makes me ashamed to be an American. Hearing about ICE stories about how they are rounding up people who could be walking on the street, they could be a U.S. citizen, they're taking their belongings, they're refusing to answer questions, they have no access to a lawyer, anything. A Canadian was detained. They sent a Venezuelan soccer player who was seeking refugee to El Salvador prison, where taking U.S. citizens, if you're brown or black, they fooled y'all. They said we're going to get all the illegal immigrants out. No, it's because the White House is full of racists, and they're going to try to get as many black and brown people out of this country as possible because they're worried about that dilution of white people's blood. That's what it is. That's not what this country was founded on. No wonder the French want their fucking Statue of Liberty back. We do not want the huddled masses and the poor. I mean, Republicans. I, on the other hand, believe everyone should have a fair shot at fucking life, liberty, and justice for all.
Come again.
We're taking U.S. citizens if you're brown or black.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Now, I really do wonder where these Democrat and liberal types get their information from, because Pat here thinks that there are still whites-only signs at businesses in the United States. Roll it.
Let me walk into a business and see a fucking whites-only sign. I'm fucking white. I'm about as white as they get. Look at how fucking pale I am, man. And I will use every ounce of that white privilege I've got to absolutely up their day. I will be the biggest that they have ever seen in their life.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
And next up we have this fellow with the severely dilated pupils saying it's way more American to be a Democrat. But don't Democrats hate this country? Roll it.
It is way more American to be left and Democrat than it will ever be to be a traitorous right-wing MAGA nut. Can't argue it.
You on drugs?
All right, next up we have Hollywood actor Mike Myers, also known as Austin Danger Powers, who is originally from Canada, talking about former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Now, I didn't think there was a single person on the entire planet that was a fan of Trudeau until now. Roll it.
But more recently,
Justin Trudeau's fantastic. I am unabashedly, everybody, I am a Justin Trudeau fan. I'm a Pierre Elliott Trudeau fan. I love the eloquence. I love a discussion that isn't just insult and putting on your opponent, but having a philosophy of governance. And Trudeau basically was, we are our brother's keeper, and civility is what we're hoping for. The other one is that the reason you give somebody authority is because they're either just or fair or competent. But in the end, government is there to help you. You know what I mean? It's us.
but have you noticed, as a Canadian and a proud Canadian outside the country, where you just don't expect people to come with any sort of interest about what's going on in your country? Have you noticed people coming up to you and say, hey, you're Canadian, what's going on with that Prime Minister?
Absolutely, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
and I also love, he's really good looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, he is. We all look like we all can do one-handed push-ups.
What the hell did you just say?
I am unabashedly everybody. I am a Justin Trudeau fan.
That means you're gay.
And next up, we have this young lady who uses some backwards, upside-down liberal logic to tell Trump voters not to celebrate the 4th of July. Roll it.
If you voted for this, do not celebrate the 4th of July. Do not celebrate the 4th of July. I know the left has complicated feelings about the 4th of July, and it's like to be so patriotic and celebrate a country that was built on the backs of colonialism and G-side and bigotry. But I say, this 4th of July, I say we reclaim patriotism in the name of improving our country and making it great for the first time. Hopefully, if we're ever able to, without completely dismantling the country and building a new one, which I really hope is the way to do it. But if you voted for it, if you voted for this, you do not love this country. You do not love the people in it. You do not deserve to proudly celebrate the country, because you're destroying it. It's also, if you're apathetic and haven't said anything about anything that's going on, also you shouldn't celebrate the 4th of July. None of you guys should celebrate the 4th of July. You should feel embarrassed. You should know that we're all looking at you a little funny. Like, I know you guys don't know how to read, but read the room.
You see that? That's a stupid bitch.
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. Now, at first I didn't notice the little camera trick, and I thought that was really her tongue. So as you can imagine, I was a little freaked out. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by the Etsy store Red Clover Fields. Now, many of you know that is my wife's Etsy store, and she's got some fantastic stuff on her website. Stuff I use every day, and I swear by it. So if you're looking to take control of your health and maybe get away from some big pharma products, definitely go peruse her store. I will put a link to that in the description box below. And I want to give a big shout out to today's honorable mention, Long Walker's Life, for leaving a super thanks on the last video. So Long Walker's Life, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So once again, today's video sponsor is the Etsy store Red Clover Fields, with the honorable mention going to Long Walker's Life. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. But I think we've all seen enough of this for one day. Get this off the screen, please. Oof.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Now, this next clip is just further proof that societal collapse is upon us. Not that we really needed any more proof, but here we have a grown man who not only thinks he's a cat, but he starts eating cat treats fresh out the bag. Roll it.
Okay. Now, I tried the chicken dreamies, and they were very nice. Now I'm going to try salmon. Look, there they are. Salmon dreamies. Now, if I was human, they would probably taste like the bottom of Nemo's fish tank. But I'm going to try them because they're lovely and I'm a cat. And cats love dreamies. So let's have a go. Salmon flavoured dreamies. Oh, crunchy bit. Lovely inside. Nice and soft. Ow!
This society is a bunch of idiots.
So this individual, who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman, is going to explain to us the difference between gay and trans. Then he's going to tell us about his wedding tackle and how he uses the ladies' restroom. Roll it.
Weird things I experience as a trans girl. People not knowing the difference between gay and trans. I don't understand how people don't know the difference, but being gay is when you like the same gender. Being trans is where you have transitioned from your previous gender to your gender now. So me, MTF. Secondly, I always get asked, how big is it? What? Bigger than yours. Which bathrooms do I use? Personally, I use the female bathrooms. Never had an issue with it. And before you come at me, I'm not going to walk into a women's restroom and a woman's going to turn around and say, are you cis? Are you a real woman? Not how it works. All I do, I don't even speak when I go in because I'm scared. Just go in, do my piss, wash my hands, do my makeup and go out. And the biggest one I always get asked, which you might relate to this trans girlies, why did you choose to be trans? Girl, shut the up.
I did not choose to be trans.
Okay.
What did you say?
People not knowing the difference between gay and trans. I don't understand how people don't know the difference, but being gay is when you like the same gender. Being trans is where you have transitioned from your previous gender to your gender now.
In your circle, I'm sure you got all kinds of gays and trans whatevers of all stripes, but not where I come from.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip from MSNBC of this fella named Eli Nastal, who looks like a human Q-tip, talking about wanting to eliminate all voter registration laws. Of course, it's the only way Democrats can win. Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
Okay, so like what?
Well, we could eliminate all voter registration laws. See, when Democrats get in charge, we try to protect voting rights. We don't make voting easier. Now, I'm all for voter eligibility requirements. We might disagree about what those requirements should be, but I'm going to say that there should be an age limit to vote. I might say 16, you might say 18, but I'm not going to say 8. Right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to agree that there should be voter eligibility requirements. But once you're eligible, why do you have to pre-register? Why is that even a thing? It wasn't a thing in this country at the founding. We didn't have voter pre-registration in 1787. We didn't have voter pre-registration in 1821. We only started having voter registration, generally speaking, after the Civil War. Why do you think that is? It's because a bunch of freed African slaves were migrating up north, and all of a sudden New York was like, we need some registration up in here, right? A bunch of immigrants from Europe, mainly Ireland and Italy, were coming to New York. People were like, oh, we need some registration in here. If you're eligible to vote, you should be automatically registered to vote, and that is how they do it everywhere else but us. Everywhere else but us either has automatic registration or some other form of forced registration for everybody, so that you don't have this disconnect between eligible voters and registered voters. That's the first law in the book that we could change. And it's to see how that's different than just saying we have to protect voting rights. No. We don't have to protect voting rights. We have to expand voting rights so that the 90 million people that sat on the couch and sat out this last election between democracy and fascism, so that maybe they have a little bit of an easier time to get up off the couch and come participate in the democracy.
What did you say? What the f*** did you just say?
Well, we could eliminate all voter registration laws.
That's the dumbest thing you could have said. What are you, an idiot?
2, 10, 12, 15. Oops, stepping on a. It's black. Anyway.